it's Krystal Everdeen, and today I want to show you how to crochet these heart-shaped earmuffs. Now I know I recently, as in a couple of days ago, just shared a tutorial on how to make heart earmuffs. However, I decided to unravel everything and start all over again because instead of wanting like round earmuffs, I wanted them to actually be heart-shaped. And I have to say that I think this version is easier than the round one, but totally up to you which one you prefer and which one you'd like to do, or if you'd like to create both. But just know that this one is going to have kind of the same footage as the first one because it starts off with the same steps. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. For this project, I'm using white yarn as well as pink yarn, a headband, and a size 5mm hook. Now, of course, for this project, you can use whatever color yarn you like, as well as whatever type of yarn you like. But for me, this is the brand I'm using, and I believe it is a size 6. I would recommend that you use some sort of like thicker, softer, squishier yarn for this project. I would have used the same kind of yarn for pink, but this is all I had. And this is a size 4, 100% acrylic, as opposed to this one, which is size 6. And I'm not actually sure what it's made out of, but it's very, very soft and squishy. Anywho, so these are the two yarns I'm using. Again, you could use whatever you'd like. It's going to be the same exact steps. So the first thing we're going to do is actually make the pink part of this project, which is the center, the pink heart in the middle. So to make the heart, you're going to start off with a magic ring. So get your two fingers like this and grab the end of your yarn, then hold them together with your thumb like so. Make sure that there's some extra at the bottom. Wrap the yarn around your fingers and cross them over like this. Then you're going to grab your hook, put it underneath the area where it's under your middle finger, like so. Sorry, it's a little hard to do it with the camera in front of me instead of actually crocheting. Anywho, so make sure your hook is underneath your index finger like this. Then grab the yarn right here, because this yarn right here is still attached to the yarn ball. So you're going to hook it, wah. And then you're going to make sure it's not twisted. You're going to then grab the yarn that's attached to the yarn ball one more time. And you're going to chain 1, inside of that loop. And I know it's super confusing and super annoying, and that's why I try to avoid magic ring as much as possible. I can't stand it, but for this project, you need the magic ring, unfortunately. So from here, you're going to chain 2 more. 1 and 2. Then you're going to go into this magic ring that you make, basically just the loop, and you're going to crochet what is called a treble crochet, and that is yarn over twice, then through the stitch or the magic ring, yarn over, back through the stitch, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, and yarn over through the last 2 loops. And that's what a treble crochet is. Now, I actually can't stand treble crochet. I do not like it. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like making it. It's just, I don't like it. So I'm going to do my own thing. I'm not sure if this is actually like a thing or if I just made it up, because the way I learned how to crochet, I was 9 years old and I just sat in a room and figured it out. No tutorials, no books, no videos, no nothing, just figured it out. So this is what I like to do instead of a treble crochet. Again, you do not have to do this. You could just do treble crochet. But I like to yarn over once, go through the stitch, yarn over, back through the stitch, yarn over, chain 1, yarn over through 2 loops, then yarn over through the last 2 loops. And that's the stitch that I call triple crochet, but that's probably wrong, again, because I just taught myself how to do it. But that's what I'm going to be using instead of treble crochet. I just prefer doing that instead of like yarning over twice, and then like yeah. But just in case, so you're not confused, do treble crochet if that's what you're comfortable with. That's what you're supposed to do. But if you see me doing this stitch and calling it triple crochet, then that's at least you know what the heck is going on. So from here, you're going to make 3 of these. 3 treble crochets. I'm just going to call it treble crochet, but just so you know, I'm doing my own thing. Okay. So I'm going to make 2 more, and it's a little bit difficult again because of the magic ring. You kind of have to make sure that the magic ring doesn't fall apart. So just make sure that you're always grabbing this and making sure that it's not coming apart on you. Otherwise, you pretty much have to start over again. So I'm going to finish off this third treble crochet. And from here, I'm going to make 3 double crochets. And double crochet is yarn over through the stitch, yarn over back through the stitch, yarn over through 2 loops, and yarn over through the last 2 loops. And again, you're going to be making a total of 3 of these after you've made your 3 treble crochets. And then after you've made your 3rd double crochet, you're then going to make 1 treble crochet. And then once you're done with that 1 treble crochet, you're going to pretty much do the same thing that we did, but backwards. So treble crochet followed by 3 double crochets. So again, a double crochet is yarn over through the stitch, yarn over back through a stitch, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through the last 2 loops. And you're going to be making 3 of those. And after you've made your 3rd double crochet, you're going to go back to the treble crochet and you're going to make 3 of those. So it's yarn, well, I mean, my version is yarn over through the stitch, yarn over, back through the stitch, yarn over through 1 loop, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through the last 2 loops. But if you're doing the treble crochet, then that's when you loop it twice and then all that stuff that I showed you in the beginning. But anywho, after I've made my 3rd treble crochet, I finally get to close this ring up. And what you're going to do is you're just going to pull it like so. Yeah. And then to finish off this heart, we're just going to slip stitch into that center right there, into the magic ring. And voila, we have crocheted a little heart. And you can see why the magic ring is essential for this project, because if you don't have the ability to pull the center and make it tight, like with the magic ring, then you're just going to have a gaping hole in the middle of your heart, and that's not good. So that's why we use the magic ring. And this is what the project looks like so far. It's just a tiny little heart. So now that we have our little heart here, we're going to want to make it bigger. So to do that, we're just going to make some more rows going around and around, following that heart shape. And to do that, I first go into the nearest stitch from the center with a single crochet. And then I go into the next stitch with a double crochet. And right here, I'm just climbing the side of the heart, and for the next stitch it's going to be like the very point of the round portion of the heart, and we want these 3 points of the heart to really be pronounced. That way, even from far away, you could tell that these are heart shaped. So that's why we really want to accentuate the 3 points of the heart. So it's a single crochet, a double crochet, and then right here at the kind of point, I know it's rounded, but like the point of the heart where it just kind of like sticks out right here, you're going to make 3 treble crochets. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's what's going to really help make sure that this really looks like a heart. So I'm going to go into that same stitch and make 3 treble crochets inside of that 1 stitch, and that's going to really grow the point of the heart right here. See? So it's going to be nice and wide right here, and then we're going to make this nice and pointed, and then we're going to make the other side wide right here as well. And then for the next stitch, we're going to make 2 treble crochets inside of that 1 stitch. And this is what the project looks like so far, like that. See how it's growing? And then from here, we're going to start to calm down a little bit. We're going to make 1 treble crochet, followed by 2 double crochets in the next stitch after that, then another 2 double crochets the stitch after that, and then 1 double crochet. Then you're going to reach the middle of the heart. Oh, this is what the project looks like so far. So then you reach where the point is going to be. And in that stitch, we're going to make a treble crochet. And then in the next one, we're going to make 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Then the one after that, we're going to make the 1 triple crochet. And then the one after that, we're going to make 2 triple crochets, 1 and 2. And then in the stitch after that, we're going to make our 3 triple crochets inside of 1 stitch to really accentuate that point of the heart, that curve of the heart. I'm not really sure, I guess, because this is the point down here, and this is the curve. Well, I guess we're kind of making it a little bit pointy by really accentuating it with the 3 triple crochets inside 1 stitch. And then you're going to do a double crochet in the next stitch, followed by a single crochet, and then you're going to slip stitch into the last stitch of the row to complete the heart, or at least this row of the heart. See how it's grown? So for the next row, if you want to make it bigger than this, you're going to essentially do the exact same thing. And I actually need to add more yarn, but yeah, for my last row, I'm going to follow the same steps. I'm going to single crochet, double crochet, and then make 3 triple crochets right here at this point. Then make 2 triple crochets, or treble crochets, 1 treble crochet, then 2 double crochets, then 1 double crochet, then a triple crochet right here at the point, like the actual point of the heart, to make it more pronounced down here as opposed to rounded out. And then I'm going to do basically what I did on this side, but opposite. So start off with the double crochets until I reach the triple crochets, and then when I reach this point, or like this point of the heart, you're going to make the 3 triple crochets, treble crochets, and then end off the last row. But yeah, I need to go ahead and add more yarn and finish off the 3rd and final row of this heart. So this is what my heart looks like after I completed the 3rd row, and I really like the size of it. Now you notice that I've actually made 2 hearts, and that's because I plan on layering the 2 on top of each other, because the other yarn that I have is very thick and you don't see any holes in between. However, since this is thinner yarn, you could definitely see the holes, and I feel like if I just layer 2 together, then you won't really see the holes as much. But if you're using thicker yarn, or if you just don't want to do this step, that's totally fine. This is completely optional, and this will come back later on in the tutorial. But since we're making hearts right now, I've made a total of 4 hearts, but you only really have to make a total of 2 hearts if you want to skip this step. So once you're done with your hearts, the next step is to add the second color, and for me again it is this fluffy white yarn, and I'm just going to add it directly to where I was last working on the heart, making sure I grab the right strand. Where in the world is the strand that's attached to, there you go, to this loop. And I'm just going to attach it like this. Just bring the new yarn into the last loop of the old yarn, and then I'm just going to single crochet into the next stitch with it, and there you go, it's nice and attached. It's a little bit confusing in the back here, but I'm going to cut that off later. And yeah, so now I'm going to be working with this white yarn, and now we're essentially going to be doing the exact same thing with this white yarn by following the shape of the heart. Now in my other tutorial, I rounded out the outline of the heart to make round earmuffs, but for this one, again, I want it to be more of an actual heart shape, and this is the goal right here. So again, we are at this step right now. We've made the heart for the center. So now we're just going to make 2 rows of the various stitches to build upon that heart and continue with that overall heart shape. And yeah, so essentially from here, I'm going to, did I already single crochet? I believe I did. Single crochet, and then I'm going to make another single crochet again because this row overall has more stitches from where we began. So I'm just going to continue adding more and more stitches where when the heart was little, we only did 1 single crochet. Now that the heart is bigger, we're making 2 single crochets. So everything's kind of like doubled. So from here, I'm going to then make a double crochet, followed by another double crochet. And now we're at the point where we want to make this a little bit bigger. So in the next stitch, we're going to add those 3 triple crochets. Again, we're trying to maintain the overall shape of the heart. So we're going to keep building upon the various points that we really want to be accentuated. So that's 2, and then 3 treble crochets inside of that 1 stitch. And this is what the project looks like. So you're just going to continue making it wide right here at the edges, and then wide right here at the point, and then again wide right here at the edge of the heart. And yeah, then from here, you know, make triple crochet along the bottom until you reach the other half of the bottom of the heart. And then that's when you start making the double crochets. So this is going to be the last triple crochet. Then I'm going to start doing the double crochets. And it's very hard to see what kind of stitches I'm doing with this yarn because it is much thicker than the yarn I started out with. But yeah, so I start off with the triple crochets on the top half of the heart, and then once I reach the bottom half of the heart, it's double crochets until I reach the very bottom point of the heart, and then I make a singular treble crochet, which I am making right now, getting into that center stitch. And then I'm going to make that treble crochet to make it nice and long. And then I just added a chain just to make it a little bit more pointy. And I'm going to single crochet 1 down that chain, and then I'm going to go into the next stitch with the double crochet. And that's just going to help, again, add that little point right here. And this is what the project looks like so far. Curving it a little bit. I probably should have made 2 triple crochets right here instead of just 1. But I think overall it looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks good. If it is curving in too much for you, then yes, I would recommend that you make 2 stitches inside of 1 stitch. For this row, I just made 1 stitch, but if it's starting to curve in too much, definitely increase more often. But I think that's good. So I'm just going to do the exact same thing, but opposite when I'm on this side. So now that I'm at the bottom, going towards the top, I'm starting off with the double crochets until I reach the middle, going towards the top. And then I start doing the triple crochets, treble crochets. And then it's not until I reach the very point of the heart where I start to make, or where I make the 3 triple crochets inside of that 1 stitch. So we're almost there. And here we go. So 1, 2, and 3 inside of 1 stitch. Then just continue on with another triple crochet and then switch back to the double crochets, then the single crochets until I complete the row, going into the center with a slip stitch. Yeah, and then this is what the project looks like so far. Yeah, and we're just going to make 1 more row of that inside of the previous row of the fluffy yarn to make it just a little bit wider, and then from there we can move on to the next step. So again, this is what the project looks like so far. Again, we are accentuating the 3 features of the heart, the 2 curves, as well as the point by making 3 triple crochets at each side right here, and then a triple crochet in the center, plus a chain if you're using the very fluffy yarn. I feel like that helps like really make this point right here. And then just following the pattern all around. So essentially starting off with single crochet, then double crochet till you get to this point, then you make the 3 triple crochets, then make triple crochets until you get to the halfway point of the heart. And then once you reach the bottom half of the heart, it's double crochet, then that 1 triple crochet, then work your way up from the bottom, double crochet till you reach this half right here, then triple crochet until you reach the point right here, then make the 3 triple crochets, and then you de-escalate by making the double crochets, then the single crochets, and then the slip stitch right here in the center. So again, I'm just going to make 1 more row of this, and then we can move on to the next step. So now that I've completed both rows, my project looks like this. Now I'm going to work on the back portion of the project, which is essentially the same thing minus switching the 2 different yarns, because we're only going to use 1 yarn, and I'm going to use the fluffy white yarn. So essentially remake your heart with, you know, starting with the magic ring and then the little heart and then building on top of it and then build and build and build until you have your own little fluffy white yarn like this. So after you're done making the 2 different hearts, I will show you how to put them together. So after you're done with your 2 pieces, one of them is going to be a solid heart with the fluffy yarn, and then the other one is going to have the different colored heart in the center as well as the fluff around it. You're going to then attach the yarn to the top right here. So you're going to want to keep this area open because this area is where you want to attach the headband. So you're going to keep this area open. So I'm going to start off right here on the sides of the heart, and I'm going to put my hook through one piece and then through the other piece. Then I'm going to grab my yarn, put it on the hook, bring it through with my hook, making sure there's a little bit of excess on the opposite side, and then the side that is connected to the yarn ball. Then I'm just going to slip stitch all around the 2 hearts. So through one piece, and then through the other piece, and then slip stitch. Through one piece, through the other piece, and then slip stitch. And now they are nice and attached, and you're going to do that all around the 2 hearts. Making sure that this little opening is still available. So I'm going to make my way around to this point, like that. So everything is attached except for this little area right here. So yeah, just go all around, slip stitching your way through both the 2 colored piece and the solid colored piece. So I have attached the 2 sides together, and this is what the project looks like so far. The sides are all attached except for this little opening right here, which first we're going to stuff it with whatever stuffing that you have, whether it be crumpled up yarn or polyfill, cotton, whatever you want to fill your muffs with. You can do so right now. And once you're done stuffing your earmuffs and you're happy with the firmness of it, that's when we're going to attach the headband. And this is how to add crochet onto your headband. So I got this headband as a pack from Amazon for like 10 bucks. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and make a sleeve for it. So what I'm going to do is actually just make a couple rows of single crochet to widen it a bit, and then I'm going to wrap it around the headband and kind of make like a little sleeve for the headband. So from here, I'm going to make a slip knot. Then I'm going to put my hook within that loop. Then I'm going to chain a chain that is as long as the headband. So let's see how long that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Let's go ahead and see if that matches the headband. So I think we need a few more stitches or a few more chains to go. Yeah, I think 43 is actually the perfect number of chains, at least for this size of headband. You could also use any old headband that you don't use anymore, and because of that, your headband size may be different, so you may need to make more or less chains than me. But for me, I'm just going to add an extra chain for good luck. So 44 chains total, and then I'm going to go back on this chain with a single crochet. So I'm just going to go back and make a single crochet within the chain that I created. So single crochet, just all along the chain with a single crochet. And again, I'm just going to make a few rows of single crochet back and forth on this project, and eventually it's going to be just wide enough to wrap around the headband and again serve as a little sleeve for the headband. It's going to be totally covering the headband. So this is what the project looks like so far. Again, I'm going to make a few more rows so it could totally wrap around the headband, and then I'm going to slip stitch the two ends together so it totally encompasses the headband, and you won't see any of the black anymore. It's just going to be all white and fuzzy and cute and comfy. And then from there we just attach it to the earmuffs and we are good to go. So I'll let you know what I do at the end of the row, but essentially I'm just going to be making single crochets all along this chain here. Voila. So I will meet you at the end. So this is what the project looks like with one row of single crochet. So once I get to the end of the row, I'm going to make sure that I go into the very last stitch of the row. Then I'm going to chain one, flip the project over, then go into the very first stitch of the new row and continue on with single crochets. And I'm just going to be making another row of single crochet on top of the previous row of single crochet, and then repeat the process. When I get to the end of the row, I'm going to chain one, flip the project over, and then go into the very first stitch of the new row and create my new row of single crochet. And this is what the project looks like with some single crochet on top of the previous row of single crochet. And I'm just going to make it wide enough so that it completely covers the headband, and I can wrap it around like this and slip stitch the ends together to make a little sleeve for the headband. So I'm probably going to be making like 4 rows total by following those steps. So I will see you once I'm done. Just follow the same pattern, make rows and rows of single crochet, and then I'll show you how I put it all together. Okay, so this is what my project looks like after I've completed all the rows of single crochet, and now I can wrap it around the headband like so it could serve as a little sleeve. To make it the little sleeve though, we need to put the two ends together like this and slip stitch them. So I'm going to go ahead and start that off by aligning them where I want them to be attached to, just folding it over like this, and then slip stitching into one side of the project and then into the other side of the project, and then slip stitch them together. Then one side of the project, go into the other side of the project and slip stitch them together. And you're going to be left with a little opening to put the headband in afterwards, so you don't have to worry about putting it in right now. You could just do that afterwards. So I'm just going to continue slip stitching down this entire project until I get to the end. So I'm just going to continue folding it like this and then slip stitching them together until I get to the end right here, and it's all one giant sleeve. So I will see you once I am done slip stitching the two ends together for this project. Okay, so now that I have completed attaching the two ends together, I cut the yarn from the yarn ball, and now I'm going to seal the project by bringing the excess yarn through the last loop and giving it a tug. Then I'm going to tuck it away so it is out of the way, out of sight. And then I'm going to put the headband through this little sleeve that we created. So this is what the sleeve looks like. And now I'm going to grab my headband and kind of guide it through the sleeve like this. Oh, that's actually easier than I thought. Actually, never mind, it got stuck right here. So again, try and guide it through to the other side, and there we go. So now we have a little sleeve for the headband, and we essentially have a new headband now. So this is the new headband. So this is the headband, and I'm going to just attach it with a slip stitch. So I'm going to grab it and create a slip stitch. You grab the two heart pieces, create a slip stitch. Now I'm approaching the sleeve of the headband, and I'm going to put my hook through the heart piece, through the headband, and then through the solid heart piece in the back, and then slip stitch through all three of them. And now the headband is nice and attached. And then from here, I'm just going to slip stitch through one side, slip stitch through to the opposite side. See right here, grab the yarn and bring it on through. Then I'm gonna go to the back right here and then slip stitch through the back, slip stitch through the headband, and slip stitch through the front. And then grab my yarn and hopefully bring it all through in one go, but it will probably get stuck somewhere along the way. And woohoo, we made it. So now that is nice and attached. I'm just going to go back and forth on it a couple times until I run out of yarn, and then we will be good to go. So I'm just gonna go back and forth with this yarn to really attach it together like this until the yarn is kind of gone. Woo! So this is what it looks like attached to the headband. Now again, you could totally see the various holes with the pink yarn right here because it is thinner than the white yarn. So that's why I'm going to grab my second heart that I made, and I'm just going to sew it on top of the previous one, and then you won't be able to see the openings underneath. But again, this is totally optional. If you had thicker yarn for the pink yarn, then you probably don't even have to do this, but since mine was thinner, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I brought a needle and thread, so I'm just going to sew it on, but if you prefer just slip stitching your way all the way through, then you could do that too. But again, for me, I'm just going to sew it, and then I will be done with the project. Also, I forgot to mention that if you don't have a needle and thread, you can just use your yarn. You could just slip stitch it on top of the other heart, or if you have that like tool that looks like a needle but it's specifically for yarn, then that would be very helpful in this as well. However, I prefer using a needle and thread when attaching things like this, just because I feel like it's more precise. Since it's so much smaller than the yarn, it's easier to get into the little nooks and crannies, and you can't even tell where the thread is. So that's why I prefer it, but you could do the other options as well. So I went ahead and sewed that second heart on top of the heart that was already in the center, and now it's much less see-through and I like it so much better. It looks a lot more put together, and I did the same thing on the opposite side. And now that we have two muffs on both sides of the headband, then we are completely done with the set of heart earmuffs, and I love, love, love the way that these came out. I'm so happy that I went back and made this shape as opposed to the round shape, which the round shape was really cute, but I really like the heart shape much more. And it's really not that much harder than the round shape, actually. I would say that this one's actually a little bit easier. But yeah, Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, found it interesting, entertaining, or helpful. And if you did, please give it a big thumbs up before you go. And if you love crochet, please check out the rest of my channel. I have so many crochet related videos ranging from beginner friendly tutorials to more advanced tutorials to crochet with me to style my crochet projects, crochet ideas, and so on. So please check out the rest of my channel and don't forget to click that red subscribe button if you have not already so I can see you next time. Bye! And have a magical day.